In their favor is Maratha Muslim and Dalit combination. Did that also weaken? Did the Dalit component of it weaken? Even though Marathas, I think, have been with them.
I think Jarange Patil's, decision to not really contest elections, because in Marathwada, the BJP faced one of its worst setbacks, winning just about one seat. Do you think, Professor Shastri, that was one thing that was key to this election outcome, whatever it is, Maratha factor?
The Maratha factor is going to be critical. I think as the day progresses and as the victories become visible, which way the Maratha vote has gone would be visibly seen, along with the vote of other OBC groups, the scheduled caste vote and the minority vote. I think how these four play out will be seen in the result. But let me draw your attention to one more point, a very critical difference between the Mahayuti and the Aghadi. In the case of the Aghadi, the three parties left each party to focus on the region that they were strong in. So you had Sharad Pawar focusing on North Maharashtra and West Maharashtra. You had the Congress focusing on Vidarbha and the Shiv Sena focusing on Marathwada. Now, did this strategy work? Which means all the three have to pull their strengths to be able to do well in the regions given. On the other hand, in the Ayuti, you notice that the BJP has a majority of the seats across regions, whereas the Shinde Sena is in its pockets and Pawar's NCP is in its pocket. So this is a very different strategy the two followed, and which strategy appears to have the upper hand again is what we will know by 12 o'clock today.
That's right. Of course, the early leads are coming in. For our viewers, if we can just refer to the numbers that we can see on the screens right now. These are, of course, postal ballots which are being counted at this point in time. But the NDA getting a march ahead with 88 lead in 88 seats, and the MVA leading in 50 seats as we speak. And as far as Jharkhand is concerned, it's the NDA which is leading in 32 seats at this point in time, and 16 seats where the India bloc is leading. But these are very early days.
Absolutely. Remember, counting always begins with postal ballots reserved for specific groups, including those with disabilities, security personnel, and certain government employees who are involved in essential services, after which is when the EVMs, they get opened and their votes get tallied. By midday is when we are told early trends will start emerging. And then, of course, the consolidation of leads takes place. But in Maharashtra, it's a tricky situation, because even if the party manages to get the highest number of seats, we're not really sure if it will be part of the government.
So I think it's very good that we are taking this electoral insurance policy at regular intervals, because I think last time around also there was this excitement about a certain parties doing well in the initial phase and the ultimate result being different. So I think to err on the side of caution is much better, and that's nice that we are doing it today as part of our analysis.
Absolutely. So early trends have started coming in, but they can be misleading. We'll have to wait and watch how this situation pans out. But remember, important elections there, fight for the economy, for the capital of economy, for the financial capital of the country, and also Jharkhand, which is crucial to the tribal identity. Important wars taking place, and of course 42 by-polls, which will also see Priyanka Gandhi's electoral debut. And if she makes it, all Gandhis will be in the parliament. That itself is going to be interesting.
Right. Time for us to take a very short break, but stay with us. Coming up on the other side, Vishnu Shoma and Maria Shakil.
I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
Cashback has flow, करते नहीं impress. Life हुई easy, कितना कुछ free, only with single ID. ये भी फ्री वो भी फ्री कितना कुछ फ्री only with single ID get it free with single ID कितने सारे ऐप्स से मुझसे जुड़े ब्रांड्स मेरे पास है सबसे बड़े get it 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 only with single ID get it free with single ID
Download any single ID partner app, link your card and earn rewards with top brand.
get it free with single ID
Good morning and welcome. In the next few hours, the political landscape of India could shift dramatically as the results from the Jharkhand and Maharashtra assembly elections roll in. With high stakes and even a higher voter turnout, these elections aren't just about local governance, they're a litmus test for national political tides. In Maharashtra, the battle between the BJP-led Mahayuti and the Mahavikas Aghadi promises a fierce contest with implications for regional power dynamics.
Yes, that's Vishnu and I are joining you at a time when the EVM machines would have opened and the counting for both the states and the by-poll that's happening across a number of states would have begun. In Jharkhand, the outcome will signal whether the JMM Congress coalition can maintain its grip or if the BJP-led NDA will seize control. This isn't just about numbers, it's about the direction of development, policy and leadership in these pivotal states. Stay tuned as we bring you all the live updates, analysis, first reactions from the ground, shaping the future of over 250 million people. Don't miss what promises to be
a political spectacle that could redefine state and national politics. Because, Maria, you would agree, it's not just a state election this time around.
Absolutely.
There has been a certain trend, which we've seen in the Haryana elections. Is that going to be something which could be a factor over here? We're going to really see what happens over here, because there are many elections coming up, but we're going to see where this leads us. So we're going to, what you see on your screens right now, with many, many words of caution.
Yes.
And should we add a few more words?
Yes.
Is very, very early leads. And these cannot be relied on. These are leads and not results. These are postal ballots which are coming in. These are early trends which are coming in. If you are asking when will results be known, I would suppose by about 12 o'clock we'll get
11:30 we'll get direction clear.
a clear direction, and then in the next few hours, these will translate into results.
Yes, absolutely. So at the moment, as we start this broadcast at 9 a.m., NDA, which is the Mahayuti, at 96, Mahavikas Aghadi at 64, and others become important in case if there is a hung assembly, but not at the moment. It appears very different picture, but yes, it's very, very early. It's 9 a.m. The counting of the EVM machines would have just about begun in certain counting centers only, not across Maharashtra or Jharkhand. Looking at the Jharkhand picture, the early leads coming in of more than 50% of 81 seats, NDA there at 35, India Bloc at 18. Of course, it is the JMM, which is the incumbent in Jharkhand. Let's bring in the reporters.
Maria, hang on. Let me ask you a quick question.
Please go ahead.
Do you have any word on hotel bookings in Maharashtra?
Yes, so that's an important point. I was speaking to some sources of mine across parties, and they were telling me that there are preparations underway. Still last evening, none of the sides were confident whether this result in Maharashtra, because it's very, very splintered in terms of 6 parties, Vishnu directly in fray. Both the Congress and the BJP have a part of the Shiva Sena and the NCP. So you really do not know which way this election will go. But I think directionally, there is a sense that has come in. Okay, so there's a triple digit now for the Mahayuti.
No, you're talking about hotels, and I'm reminded,
Yes.
since the split of the Shiv Sena was such an important and pivotal moment in Indian politics, about the hotel politics, as it were, when the Shiv Sena split. They first went to Goa, then they went to Assam, then they went back to Goa,
Yes.
right? And then they went to Maharashtra. And
Yes,
we were
the
tracking them in various hotels all the time.
So, yeah, I think that becomes tough for us because, there are so many hotels, and we tend to finally get the numbers of where. And
Let's
the number
hope it
of
doesn't
booking
go there.
importance.
Let's hope it doesn't go
Early
there. Now we
morning,
want clean
certainly not.
elections. That means we get to work a little less also.
Yes, so let's bring in the reporters. Anuj is joining us. We have Radhika joining us. live early this morning, and we also have Abira. Let me begin with you, Radhika. As someone who is in Worli, an important contest between Milind Deora and Aditya Thackeray, what are you picking up? Has the voting, counting of the EVM machines begun? I'm sure the postal ballots are over. What about EVM machines? Has that started?
Yeah, that has started. Counting of EVMs has started in Worli, of course. As you said, this is a high-stakes battle that we saw between Aditya Thackeray and Milind Deora. It's going to be a close contest. Several predict Aditya win. Many others predict Milind win. But, this is what we've been seeing over the last several weeks. Mahayuti very, very confident of their victory. MVA confident of its victory. And it could be hung assembly is what several people are telling us. But if it's going to be hung assembly, more drama post this. And as you were pointing out, as reporters who've been covering this since 2019, we covered 2019 elections as well, and post that the Sena split, NCP split, we were just talking about hotels and resort politics. We did see, when the Sena versus Sena split happened, the number of hotels that all of them were put up in, first Surat and then Guwahati and then Goa. And the discussions really among reporters is, will we have to go to several of these cities and be parked outside many of these hotels? So that is a concern for reporters also, not just the, candidates, leaders and the political parties. But having said that, yes, it is a close contest. Mahayuti versus MVA, unlikely alliances, a lot of realignments we saw in the last several years. So therefore, 2019 drastically different from 2024. In 2024, we are talking about 6 parties and unstable alliances, as one would say, 2 Senas, 2 NCPs. So therefore, yes, although early trends may give Mahayuti some edge and perhaps later MVA some edge, but we'll have to really wait till the end because it's down to the wire really as far as Maharashtra assembly elections are concerned. Yesterday multiple meetings took place, Sena meetings, BJP meetings, Congress meetings, to ensure that their flock stays together, one, and secondly, if it is a hung assembly, who are the independents, who are the rebel candidates, and which are the smaller parties they could perhaps depend on. So yes, it's all down to the wire as far as Maharashtra is concerned. We'll have to wait for a few more hours to understand if it is going to be a clear mandate either for Mahayuti or MVA, or if it's going to be hung assembly, which means it's going to be chaos and confusion for weeks ahead.
Mahayuti at 110, Mahavikas Aghadi at 68, of course, as we have said, that the counting of EVM has just begun. Anuj continues to be with us. Anuj, where exactly is Eknath Shinde today? Because, it's an important battle for him in particular. Is he at Varsha or is he in Thane?
Eknath Shinde is in Thane here, right at the beginning of the day. Of course, he is expected to move towards the city as the trends become a little clear. And not just him, we can also expect many other political leaders, especially from from the close-by areas and from the far-off places as well, to travel to the city, from both the factions. Because although the early trends suggest that the Mahayuti are having an edge at this particular moment, but we can expect things to get very close, as we approach the 12 noon period, and that is when one can see both the alliances will be inching towards that magical number of 145. But as been reiterated before, even if a party or even if an alliance crosses the mark of 145, that doesn't really guarantee the formation of the government by them, because it will be too ambitious of us to believe that even by the end of the day, the picture will become very clear considering what has been going on across the state in the last 4 to 5 years. We've seen that, there have been several mini contests amongst the larger picture of the Maharashtra
in terms of what the overall
and
situation that you see on the screen right now. Let's just give you the leads position right now. At this stage, the leads have the NDA considerably ahead. Remember, this will be postal ballot counting. At 103 leads for the NDA, the Mahavikas Aghadi at 64. At this stage, the Mahavikas Aghadi is actually 13 ahead in terms of a change from last time around. Of course, the political formations were different, but in terms of the composition, the NDA is down 7. But again, very early days. Let's go across to Abira, who joins us at from Dahisar. Abira, what's happening around you? What's the buzz that you're picking up, and what are some of the key contests where you're reporting from?
Let's first talk about, I think this time Maharashtra is taken over by the women because the percentage of women that turned out to vote was extraordinary compared to, of course, 2019. We have seen how Maharashtra percentage of voters have increased, and we have to give it to the women because 6% increase in the women voter. So, I think here at Dahisar, we have Manisha Chaudhary, who is the sitting MLA right now, who is the BJP candidate. She has an upper hand because she has been campaigning here, talking to the women, of course. But at the same time, we have Vinod Ghosalkar, who has a emotional quotient here because he has sympathy as his son was murdered a few months back. And he has been standing here, so he has sympathy votes here. But we have to say it is the women voters who are ruling Maharashtra. Maybe they will decide who will win this election.
Well, we're also joined by Clyde Craster of the NCP, Rajesh Ghotian of the Congress, and Amya Kapoor of the BJP. Thank you all very much for being with us. And of course, we've got a wonderful set of panelists coming in throughout this morning. Let me go across to you, Clyde, first. Bottom line, at the end of today, or in fact in the next few hours, voters in Maharashtra, people in Maharashtra will get a sense of the real NCP, right? It is a battle of identity for your party. Clyde, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me? Did you get my question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I got your question. Can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you hear me?
All right, we'll come back to Clyde in a moment. Let's just go quickly across to Rajesh Ghotian of the Congress Party. Rajesh, I know these are very early right now, but it does appear that in terms of the lead situation, the NDA considerably ahead of the MVA. Any quick thoughts that you may have?
See, when I started seeing the counting, I knew it was not possible at all. And if you see, I have been looking at the left side, that is on the screen, at a lot of Marathi channels, one of them being yours, NDTV Marathi. Now, I am having a lead count of, I don't want to just market any other channel on your channel, but I am having the latest on all the 288. It was 137, 135. So what you are showing will finally go there. And as of now, I don't want to be wrong also, it is showing 140 to Mahayuti and 132 to MVA. And this is not even the first round. So I'm very sure I was on the channel 2 days back.
Yes.
Hello?
Sajjan, come in on this. When we are looking at these numbers, it's 120 is what we are looking at for Mahayuti at the moment, and Mahavikas Aghadi at 80. Mahayuti down by 12, and Mahavikas Aghadi up by 20. Very early hours, 9-11 isn't really the time we can come to some conclusion, but how are you looking at it?
No, I mean, that's also the down and up is because last time in 2019, the combinations were different. You have just two parties in what you call today Mahayuti, combined Shiv Sena and BJP. So therefore, both the constituents were contesting more seats. So this time, even if it's going down, the lead indicates one thing. If you see the ground scenario, the fact that except Marathwada region, everywhere there was a positive traction for Ladki Bahin Yojana scheme. To Eknath Shinde's image has also taken some sort of upward pull factor. Given that, also if you see in Vidarbha region wherein Congress was supposed to contribute considerably, therein we found that Congress had literally let it go, let it slip out and fall into the hands of the local candidates wherein the Mahayuti has the edge. So overall, I think if more women voters, as the report is there, have voted in this, so therefore the Ladki Bahin Yojana impact is going to give positive traction to the Mahayuti.
Okay, Aditi?
Well, we have to see what role or what the performance of Sharad Pawar is, because this is absolutely a make and break election for him and his party. We have to, I don't know what the reports are from Baramati. I don't know what the reports are from other areas where...
I will just mention that because NCP SP at the moment Their leads are, they are contesting on 64 seats. Lead is in 33. There's a change of plus 21 for NCP SP at the moment.
So which is
They're contesting in 86 seats, right?
86, yeah.
Yes,
86
yes.
seats.
So far we know about
51.
64.
51 so far.
64 we know about so far, yes.
so even assuming that it
The
is
F5 update button, eh?
Yes.
All right.
even if we assume that it is around, they're leading in 1 out of every 2 seats that they contested, that's pretty damn good as strike rates go. But we have to see what, I'm really interested in knowing what happens in Baramati.
Yes.
In fact, there's a further update, Maria. You know, I mean, they're contesting in 86,
yes.
the NCP SP. So far, there are leads in 71. There are leads now in 37. They're leading now in 37.
There's a gain of 24 seats.
And that's very significant.
Yes, that's pretty good. Let's bring in Clyde and get a reaction on this. Of course, as far as the Lok Sabha is concerned, Clyde, we saw the results, and Sharad Pawar did give what was seen as a debilitating blow to his nephew when Ajit Pawar's NCP managed only 1 MP while Sharad Pawar dominated the NCP completely. I don't think so. Even in this election, Sharad Pawar, the NCP battle is going to be settled so easily. Mr. Pawar remains that dominant figure in Maharashtra politics.
Good morning, Maria and Vishnu. I hope you can hear me now.
Loud and clear.
Am I audible enough? Am I audible now?
Clyde, you've been audible all throughout. Can you answer the question?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So I heard you. I'm getting my updates, from Baramati.
Yes.
So at the moment, Mr. Ajit Pawar is leading, but overall picture is that, the NCP, my NCP, which is Mr. Sharad Chandra Pawar, we're leading in 45 seats at the moment. That's the update I'm getting from my central office, that we're leading 45 seats. So it's going to be neck to neck, but, like Maria just said, is it going to be settled, which is the real NCP? I have no doubt. I have no doubt we are the real NCP. The election commission may have given the verdict, things have panned out, but we all know who formed NCP. We all know who is the president of the NCP. These things happen, but at the end of the day, people of Maharashtra will decide today what they decided in the Lok Sabha election. We won 8 out of the 10 seats that we contested it. So I think it's going to be a decision that the people have taken. It's going to seal it this time around. But having said that, the updates that I'm getting also, we are neck to neck. The Mahayuti and Mahavikas Aghadi are running neck to neck.
It's a battle of identity for your party. At the end of the day, in the next few hours, people would likely say, okay, I now know who the real NCP is. And therefore, as tall a leader as Sharad Pawar may be, this is at one level an existential election for your party.
Well, I wouldn't call it an existential election because we know we exist. It's the other faction that broke away. They try to, exist and, call themselves the real NCP. But the truth cannot be, hidden. The fact is, we all know where the party stands. Sharad Pawar Saab formed the NCP and we're
a word on Shiv
Sena
and all other political parties, because we have more details coming in now. The Shiv Sena, which is Eknath Shinde's Sena, the leads have come in on 59 seats out of 81 that they have contested leads now. They are leading in 33 of those 59. There is a change or gain of 2. Congress, though, is down minus 13. They are contesting on 101. Remember, in Mahavikas Aghadi, they're contesting on maximum number of seats. Out of 101 seats that the Congress is contesting, the leads clear now in 83. They are leading only in 26. And in 2019, remember, they had won 39. So I think it's not very early trend, but not very clear picture for the Congress at the moment. So as we look at 917, Mahavikas Aghadi at 85, Mahayuti at 136. So that's how the numbers are stacked. Again, let's bring in Anuja Kapoor now of the BJP. Early trends, I know BJP has always been cautiously optimistic, but how are you viewing it?
Jai Shri Ram and good morning. We are very hopeful because this is the government of NDA, and NDA is a cadre-based party where under the leadership of Modi ji, a Modi ji who has been bestowed with the highest honor around the world with 17 awards. This is what we see, where India is called as a Viksit Bharat. You will be seeing in 2045, 40 in next decade. So what we are looking into is why we would be winning this. Because what Modi ji's schemes have been turned up in Maharashtra, what Modi ji's schemes have been turned up in Jharkhand, that is on the ground level. The woman, Dalit, the caste system, what Congress was talking about, where we were talking about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, where we also talked about
because what I'd like to do, and I'll come back to you, is take a look at important strike rates which are taking place in face-offs between various political formations. So if you take a look at the BJP versus the Congress, that's the really big one. The BJP presently in leads, these are leads, not results, we'll say it 100 times, has a strike rate of 70%. The Congress in a direct face-off in Maharashtra across the state is hitting at only 23%. So this is a huge problem, Maria.
Yes, a word on those 75 seats. Out of those 75 seats, there is on which there is a direct face-off between the BJP and the Congress. 40 are in Vidarbha, which essentially means that the BJP is doing well in Vidarbha region. That's why their strike rate is at 70% in this direct face-off between the BJP and the Congress. Early as it's 920 only.
And also the other point, of course, is that the Congress is doing, would have concerns at this stage. Of the 101, and as you mentioned, in the MVA, they're contesting the maximum number of seats in that alliance. They're leading in only 25. That's down 14 from last time. Let's take a look at the next face-off, as it were, on the screen. This is the NCP versus the, I think it's the NCP versus NCP. Let's try and pull out those graphics on the screen. Oops. NCP versus the NCP SP, Sharad Pawar. Again, this is the battle for identity. It's almost even Stevens, because Maria, about 30 seconds back, it was 50% each, right? So the NCP Sharad Pawar marginally under, but again, it's almost perfectly evening. The other big battle, the Shiv Sena versus the Shiv Sena, the crisis in Maharashtra politics triggered initially by the split of this party. The Shiv Sena or the Balasaheb Thackeray, right? Again, in the biggest battle of identity, is not hitting at the strike rate that they want.
Yes, so in 53 seats that we are looking at, in which there is a direct face-off between the Shiv Sena and Shiv Sena UBT, it's 53 seats, and most of these 53 seats are coming from Konkan, Thane region.
And Mumbai region.
Yes. Yeah. Sajjan, a word on that?
Yeah, precisely. If you see, there is a generational shift, the generation of the Shiv Sena which has not seen Bal Thackre's era. Certainly the sympathy factor doesn't translate into vote automatically. Second, Eknath Shinde, whatever be his tally, but certainly he has arrived as a leader compared to the Lok Sabha election when he was a traitor and banking upon BJP organizational base. Ladki Bahin Yojana is Eknath Shinde's initiative. So 1, 2, he is now considered as a CM who has delivered a lot in a very quick span of time. So that is why he is not only has arrived as a leader, but he is also contributing to the tally of Mahayuti. And if more women turnout is there, which is the case, then mind it, if Yuti sails through, certainly Eknath Shinde is going to be the Nitish Kumar of Maharashtra for BJP.
You know what's interesting? Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, please go ahead.
What I find interesting is that if these trends translate into results, and the gap at this stage is fairly significant, then it goes against what we've seen in the Lok Sabha elections, where the MVA rested 30 of the seats, 48 seats. Right? So it's a complete spin within a matter of few months. Of course, we know that assembly elections and Lok Sabha elections very different. But coming as it does just a few months later.
Vishnu, that was palpable on the ground. What I saw on the ground was that there is no anger per se. 6 months ago, the BJP was being accused of Jod Tod Ki Rajniti. After 6 months, that had gone. So what my reading has been, that if there is anger or if there is sympathy, it manifests only once. And if after the voters are done voting on that issue once,
it has been vented out. They have vented out.
It doesn't repeat itself. Aditi?
Well, yes.
The issues would be broadly similar, though.
The issues are similar. The issues are actually the same. Issues of farmer suicide, issues of socio-economic crisis, issues of investment flying out of Maharashtra to other states, levels of corruption. Those issues are very much in people's minds. They continue to be throughout the campaign. This is what one heard. But I think leadership also matters a great deal. And so this election proves to us how much leadership actually matters. Sharad Pawar continues, according to the result, continues to be a formidable leader in Maharashtra, despite the current situation that seems to suggest that Ajit Pawar is following closely behind him.
Okay.
The Shiv Sena UBT leadership has proved that it is not up to the task, and you can only go so far as up to a point with the theme of betrayal. And the Congress, frankly, has completely
They are underperforming in a very big way.
And I would say
Down
Vidarbha
15
in
from
particular,
last time.
you know, because in that region, it is also proving, if these numbers actually translate into actual results, that even in hyper-local elections, we were seeing this as 288 mini battles playing out in Maharashtra. Even then, there are certain nuts and bolts of an organization which seems to be working here.
Yeah, and you see, don't be surprised if Vidarbha emerges as the graveyard, not for the Congress, but it drags down MVA also, because Vidarbha is where the Congress is supposed to contribute. Largest constituent of all the 6 regions.
Absolutely.
And Congress is supposed to contribute there, and it's almost a direct fight between BJP and Congress.
Yes.
And the way we are witnessing, it seems to be the trend, at least in Vidarbha, that if MVA gets pulled down, primarily it would be on account of the Congress.
Okay, according to leads, at 9:25, NDA has majority in both the seats. But this is early, very, very early trends. Let's tell our viewers this would be the first round of counting on EVM machines. So very, very early when we look at these numbers. But the gap seems to be increasing between the Mahavikas Aghadi and the Mahayuti. It's almost 70 seats gap, which is certainly significant. Let's bring in Mr. Singh now of the Shiv Sena. You know, the spotlight will be on Eknath Shinde. 2.5 years of governance, and then he managed to position himself as this leader who can take forward the mantle of a hard Hindutva party such as the Shiv Sena.
देखिए, जो असली शिवसेना की बात थी, तो आज तो ये प्रूव हो गया कि जो है असली शिवसेना
अभी कुछ और टाइम इंतजार करते, शायद आप और 3 घंटे बाद ये कह सकते हैं, पर फिलहाल ये अभी नतीजे जो है ये नतीजे नहीं है, ये लीड्स है सिर्फ।
नहीं, पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट तो है, पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट चल रहा है। और मेरा कहना ये है कि जो शिंदे साहब जो है, मैं इनको 25 ईयर से जानता हूं, और ये बहुत जमीनी नेता है। ये जैसे जो यूबीटी के नेता है, हवाई वाले नहीं है कि जो है इधर से मातोश्री में रहना, ये नहीं करना जो है। इनको मैं स्टडी किया है, सुबह 8 बजे घर से निकलते, 12-1 बजे 2 बजे रात को घर पे आते, और इन्होंने जो लाडली बहना योजना किया जो है, उसकी वजह से काफी फायदा मुझे दिख रहा है। और मैं जिस समय वोटिंग था, उस समय भी वोटिंग पोल पे गया था। इलेक्शन कमीशन को मैं धन्यवाद करता हूँ कि उन्होंने जो है अलग से महिलाओं के लिए पंक्ति बनाई थी और व्हील चेयर भी रखा था। तो जो शिवसेना साहब का जो काम है इस इलेक्शन में दिख रहा है, और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि महायुति की सरकार बनेगी।
What I really want to focus on, and let's just have that graphic up once again on the NCP versus NCP battle, because that to me is the most fascinating battle in the battle for leads at this stage. With the NCP, Sharad Pawar up 23 from last time around, whereas the NCP, the Ajit Pawar faction down 12 from last time around. So, you know, I mean, so that's this. So we'll update those numbers. But what I'm actually seeing, let's you know, in the face-off right now. No, what I'm actually seeing is the overall seat, the lead position. But in the face-off, that's fine. But let's have that up again. Where are the two against each other? And we'll be updating these graphics as well. It's a 54% to 46%. So the NCP of Ajit Pawar at this stage seems to be going up. But again, that's something that we would want those numbers revised to see whether there's been a change in that in the last few moments as well.
Yes, that's right. But this battle of NCP versus NCP in Baramati and parts of Marathwada.
Yeah. Parts of Marathwada and Baramati primarily for the first time, despite all these gossip that there is some understanding between Sharad Pawar and Ajit Pawar. In Baramati, for the first time, you'll see entire Sharad Pawar family is spiritedly, they have campaigned against Ajit Pawar personally to ensure his defeat. Sharad Pawar's wife, who never stepped out in politics, hitherto.
Okay, just a moment. I just wanted to go across to Clyde because the numbers which I'm reading, Clyde, in terms of leads, actually has the NCP SP ahead of the NCP. Is that what you're getting as well? So we'll update those graphics of us.
No, Vishnu, I'm not taking anything away from what you've got, but I have got my central office which we are monitoring because it's not surprising that we are monitoring both these parties. So right now we are leading in 43 and the Ajit Pawar group is leading in 20 seats. That's what I'm getting from my central office. So 43 NCP SP and 20 seats to Ajit Pawar. That's what is the situation right now.
Ajit Pawar and Ajit Pawar candidates are leading in 15 constituencies at the moment in this direct face-off which is happening between the two parties. So Ajit Pawar, who did really badly and poorly in the Lok Sabha polls, is trying to regain, or is he riding on what was seen as sympathy, sentiment done away with? Now it is about strengthening Mahayuti, the government of the day, because if these numbers hold and the gap between the two sides is only increasing, it's a pro-incumbency vote which is playing out across Maharashtra. And a word again on this, Aditi Fadnis. Maharashtra since 1987 has not voted a single party. It has always been an alliance government in Maharashtra. This is again, as we saw in 2019, it was a pre-poll alliance that the voters may be looking at favorably. If these numbers hold, we are saying it repeatedly, this would be first round only on the EVM machines.
But if these numbers are correct for Mahayuti, then Mr. Devendra Fadnavis will be always the bridesmaid, never the bride? Because everybody
is
doing extremely well.
Yeah.
And also, although the BJP has contested the largest number of seats, they will once again be relegated to supporting a smaller party from the outside, which is...
Or maybe initially they'll not rock the boat, and we'll see that now.
Maria, I'm just going to come back to a point I was mentioning earlier on, and according to the updated figures that we have also coming in and we tabulated with the ECP, again, it's the most fascinating fight for me right now is the NCP, SP and the NCP. The leads position of the Sharad Pawar group of the NCP, according to our data, is 32. The NCP is at 27. Remember, the NCP Sharad Pawar is contesting in 86, the NCP contesting in 59. The NCP Sharad Pawar, in terms of all their contests, this is not just NCP versus NCP, but in all their contests, is actually up 19. Now, if you take a look at that compared to where the Congress is, at this stage, the Congress in the leads position is down 15. So in terms of the big partner, as it were, in the equation, the Congress contesting in 101 seats, it's quite clearly underperforming in a huge way, and the NCP SP appears to be doing reasonably well. Now, is that good enough or not? That we will get to that later.
But Vishnu, I just wanted to make a small point, which is that the Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP, I continue to call it the Ajit Pawar faction, has actually not contested on its own symbol in many seats. So granular data could result in a different picture.
You're talking about independents?
I'm talking about candidates of the BJP who are contesting on Ajit Pawar's symbol and vice versa.
Yes, Shaina NC.
Exactly.
She's contesting on as a Shiv Sena candidate.
Exactly. So that granular detail is also quite important when we try to assess the positions of relative positions and strengths.
All right. Well, we've got our correspondents out across the field right now, reporting from the BJP headquarters. Who do we have up at this stage? Prabhakar and Aishwarya join us. Let's go straight across to Aishwarya. Give us a sense of what's happening at the BJP headquarters.
Laddu?
The last time this Laddu business happened, I think you and I were anchoring, and there were Laddus in the Congress office. Our dear friend Sunil Prabhu was eating one of them as well, but then the election results. So I would suggest that Laddus might be bad news, but what's happening around you, Aishwarya?
Laddus or jalebis, Aishwarya? What did you get?
Well, this time it is jalebis, and unlike of the Haryana elections where we saw at the Congress headquarters jalebis being distributed, this time since morning what we are witnessing at the BJP headquarters is jalebis being prepared over here, and you know, probably at around 11 or 12 the picture will get clearer, and there had been orders of almost 100 kgs of jalebis. Of course, there are no early celebrations as of now, but preparations are still on at the BJP headquarters. Many leaders have turned up since morning as they are watching these results very closely. The BJP had clearly stated that they're very confident of the Jharkhand polls, but on the other side, Maharashtra is something they would like to wait and watch as to what transpires in the next few hours. But certainly preparations are on, as every elections we see, if Bharatiya Janata Party wins, then it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi who comes to the headquarters and address their Karyakartas, and therefore the reason perhaps all the you know, preparations are on, and the orders have been given to the Karyakartas to still wait and watch as to what results transpired. But jalebis is something that is being prepared currently at the BJP headquarters.
Jalebi factory may have been a talking point in Haryana, but jalebis are back as the favorite.
Shall we take a look at Jharkhand? Shall we take a look at Jharkhand? Because we've got our colleague Prabhakar as well in Ranchi waiting for us. The overall position right now, the NDA and the India Alliance both contesting in 81. The Leeds position has the NDA up at 43. That's up 17 from last time. The India Alliance, and this is terrible news for the JMM obviously, is that they're down 13 from last time. So again, very early, the total number of seats is 81. Any early reactions, Prabhakar? Is there a sense of disbelief? I mean, at this stage, actually, the JMM is up 4 from last time. So perhaps it is early days. But what are you getting in terms of some reactions on these leads?
I think the leaders from both the factions, they will first wait for the numbers to settle down, and then they would react to the results which are coming in. But as of now, of course, the trends are showing that the NDA is in a leading position, and that would be a big setback for JMM, because they were quite upbeat about it. They were quite positive that they would actually be able to come back in power, and it was basically they were riding on the hope of this MVA Samman Yojana, which is their flagship program actually to attract women voters. And what we saw on the ground during the polling, that women were there in large number on ground voting, and JMM actually believed that it was because of their scheme, the MVA Samman Yojana, that women have come out largely to vote for them. But if the numbers actually don't go their way, it will certainly be a big disappointment. Laddus have been ordered here in Ranchi as well by both the camps, laddus and crackers. We don't know which camp will actually burst crackers or distribute laddus, but certainly we will have one, whichever camp wins.
Good one, Prabhakar there. Let's bring in Tom Vadakkan. Tom Vadakkan, it seems Jharkhand, Maharashtra, both the states could have good news for you, but very early hours, 9:36 only. Mr. Vadakkan, if you heard me, sir.
I will take this opportunity to thank our voters and the Election Commission for having conducted an election which is above board. Whoever wins or loses, this is democracy at full play.
But Tom, you're being terribly philosophical early in the morning.
If you have delivered,
got some very positive leads
If
positions to you in Jharkhand and in Maharashtra. Where is the excitement, or are you in a sense of disbelief that you're doing as well as you are in the leads position in both states?
No, that's not the case. We know we have delivered. We know we have delivered.
Now that's more
and our guarantees and promises people have seen it. So we are not, we are somebody who's surprised with anything. If you work hard and you deliver, your Kalikartas are there and the results are there, then there's nothing to stop you. And if democracy is anything that we can talk about, that is what you deliver to the people, how well you take care of the people. and the promises that you keep
what is
and you
ironical
maintain it.
in these numbers
That is the essential test,
Tom,
litmus test.
that we heard two very women-centric schemes in both the states. In one state, you had about Ladki Behan. In the other, it was about Maiya Samman. In both these states, women voters came out to cast their vote. But if these numbers actually translate into actual results, in one state, they voted for the party which gave them that model of governance. The other one, they have voted against it.
Quite right, absolutely, and we suggest that there are many other factors at work in both states. Well, they are very different states, so you can't really equate one with the other. But even though women have come out to vote in large numbers, the factors that have impelled them to vote in certain ways may be different.
And also the tribal voter, we'll have to talk about them. That will become a crucial vote bank now. You know, all that outreach with regards to, Birsa Munda Jayanti and visually impactful images.
It's not just that. It's also what BJP told us is in the Kolhan region, where the BJP, which sends 14 seats to the assembly, in the last election, the BJP got 0. Kolhan is where Champai Soren comes from.
Right.
That's right.
So it's possible that the base of the tribal JMM-led tribal consolidation, the base of that grouping is completely broken.
You know, Sajjan, that's an interesting point. Hemant Soren in these elections, the fact that he came out of jail as a sort of hero, the fact that the JMM were looking at the entire narrative of how their premier leader has been targeted by agencies. If these leads translate into results, then that entire narrative completely collapses. And I would suggest, perhaps even more than the women voters, it is the narrative of the JMM and Hemant Soren not working out that would go against them and decide the sympathy factor, which would win or lose the election for them.
Yeah, therein comes relatively the core zones wherein the impact of the leader is there. So besides Santhal Pargana and among the Santhals, it has never been the case that JMM has consolidated all the tribes, let alone about the rest of the Jharkhand electorates. Last time what happened that BJP's Chief Minister Raghuvar Das and OBC, he ended up alienating both the tribals and the upper caste middle class voter, like Saryura and others, This time, wherein the BJP, by aligning with AJSU and others, consolidated OBC votes, upper caste vote also has come, and with Babulal Marandi and others, they have been Urao, Mundas, Ho, Khadia, lots many tribals. So that way sympathy factor needs to be given some external organizational push to be beyond the quarantined area of Santhal Pargana.
Right.
And when Congress is your ally, that doesn't seem to be the case.
Okay, so Santhal is how many seats there? Santhal Pargana would be how many seats?
In and around, if I'm correct, around 30 or something.
30. That's the dominant. It's similar to Vidarbha. I mean, the region which can make or break.
But you have to remember that tribals are only 27% of Jharkhand's population.
Right.
Now, the other castes,
OBCs.
particularly the Kurmis, and specifically among the Kurmis, the role of Jairam Mahato, who has emerged as a very major a potential chief minister candidate among the Kurmis. That is also very, very important.
The Congress down last time in Jharkhand from last time. They're contesting a significant 30 seats. They were always being carried along by the JMM, but with this, it's just not worked out.
Okay, so a word on Jharkhand now, and if we can do a party-wise breakup. The BJP is contesting on 68. We have leads in 65 so far. The BJP, of these 65 seats, the BJP is leading in 35. They have made a gain of 11. JMM contesting on 43 seats. We have a picture clear of 41. There is a change of -3. The Congress is down -9. It seems to be certainly bringing down this entire alliance. AJSU, the alliance partner of the BJP there, it is contesting on 10 seats. They are leading in 6. They are making gains of 4. So a word on AJSU.
Yeah, Atsu contributes to especially the Kurmi Mehtos.
The Kurmi Mehto, yes.
Hazaribagh and bordering the Purulia, all the regions wherein you have Kurmi Mehtos, and who last time also got alienated. So this time, that is why the women-centric scheme is one factor that should have contributed to the JMM Congress alliance. But when you do not do your homework right about the social base, for example, in Maharashtra, you see, except Marathwada region, wherein the Jharkhand Patil factor seems to be contributing to, going against the BJP. Everywhere BJP again, consolidated among the OBC base, Madhav Alliance, Mali, Dhangar, Vanjaris, Teli, etc. And that's why you see many of the OBCs are saying that we voted against the BJP because hum dar gaye the because of the constitution narrative. Yeah. But now that the OBC leaders like Chhagan Bhujbal and others, they openly came out against Jharkhand Patil, and that is why you contribute to the social boost, and then Ladli Bahin Yojana adds up.
And in that narrative of Jharkhand Patil in Marathwada, here is Jharkhand Patil not questioning the Shiv Sena. He's questioning his target is essentially Devendra Fadnavis and the BJP.
That's the caste. No, that not Maratha leaders of BJP.
No, yes.
Primarily the Devendra Fadnavis because he's a Brahmin.
Yeah, so I'm saying even then Jharkhand Patil was selective in his target questioning. So that essentially confused the voters even more. When I met him at his home in Marathwada, he gave me an impression that yes, I'm going to start agitation again, and all his questions was only against Devendra Fadnavis. Right. So the BJP chose that in Marathwada, Devendra Fadnavis will not be in the front line of the campaign. No. He'll be much behind.
I just want to switch very briefly to Jharkhand once again and pick up on the point that Aditi was talking about. I think Jairam Mahato and the entire insider-outsider debate is one of the most fascinating aspects of this election. The fact that he's campaigned on a domicile policy going back to 1932, saying that that is the cutoff when you'd be decide. How significant a player is he in the context of these elections and this particular insider-outsider debate, which has also been core to what the BJP has been arguing?
Look, this domicile thing is already a done and dusted thing. Babulal Marandi way back, 2 decades back.
It comes up, yes.
Now in Jharkhand, more than that, I think his crucial impact would be among the Mehto, Kurmi Mehto community who are sizable in Jharkhand. Because I think this outsider-insider debate has been dusted. It doesn't have the resonance, but because the very demand of being included into the ST category. You know, 1908 when the Kurmi Kshatriya Mahasabha happened, and they were invited, the tribal told them that you are not the Kurmis of UP and that time the plains of Bihar, do not go, but they went there because of the Sanskritization logic.
No, but what is interesting now is that even there, a party like BJP, which had, not really directly projected Babulal Marandi as their face, they are getting acceptance from tribal state. It's a tribal, 28% may not be the completely dominated state, but will be seen as a tribal state.
In terms of the territory,
in terms of territory.
Inhabit.
I think much more important is
the BJP.
No. BJP got 0 seats in the tribal reserved area.
In the Lok Sabha
reserved seats.